Welcome to the third wheel.
At night.
I'll be your host, Darci.
And I'm your co-host, Caleb.
Oh, co-host.
I know.
Okay.
I'm going to let you lead this one. At least pretend to lead. Start off.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
It's probably not going to take very long. Oh, also, before I get into the subject, I just want to say, you know that marriage advice group that I'm in that we talk about like all the time, a lot of times?
Oh, don't give me bad news.
Well, it's not bad news. I'm still in the group.
Okay, cool.
But I got like banned from commenting for like
Seriously?
20 days.
What'd you say?
I didn't even say anything that bad.
But you said something. I'm excited. Let's hear it. You have a screenshot?
I'll see if I can find the post.
So as Darci continues to search and looks and makes weird faces, hope you guys like that sponsor's message. So Darci has found the message. Let's find it. What's up?
Okay, so there's this lady, Miriam, and I guess she's an admin now, and she keeps posting like off the wall things and like talking about how she's not going to approve any posts about gay people and them going to hell and like stuff like that, like really like out of their posts.
And her account's fine.
Yeah. Well, she's an admin.
Okay.
So I'm guessing she's the one that banned my account.
Yeah.
For
definitely.
however long. But so this was the post. It says, why do some people react to godly posts with laughing emojis? I'll tell you why. This is a crybaby sissy generation that hates the truth, hates correction, and hates anyone bold enough to preach the truth. They love fleshly carnal food, like the ear-tickling messages. They're still on baby milk and hate the meat in all caps.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what she posted, right?
So I imagine you sent a laugh emoji to her.
I did laugh react at the post.
That's funny. That already pissed her off.
Yeah. And so this guy, we all know Bill. He's commented on quite a few things.
Hey, Bill. Shout outs to you.
Yeah. And so I commented to his where he said, so Tara commented, this isn't a very godly post, to be honest. Crybaby sissy generation, you do better.
That's what you said?
That's what Tara said.
Tara. And Tara's fine.
Yeah. Like, fair enough. Like, yeah,
Sure.
That's definitely not a Christian approach to what you're talking about. So Bill comes in and comments, well, in all honesty, it is. And don't get me wrong. I know it's not everyone in Gen Z, but my generation ain't the one who said you must play the gender pretend game and call us by our pronouns, or we will tell everyone you're a homophobe. My generation ain't the ones that had a meltdown if you had a disagreement with someone. This is pretty much what this post is talking about. She gets criticized over her beliefs and gets called names. And when she stands up for herself, she shouldn't be able to say that because it's ungodly. Remember, religious or not, we all are perfectly flawed besides sin.
Is Bill an admin too?
I don't know. But he's always like up there to support like some of these out there posts.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, I can't find the post that got me deleted for 20 days, but I do have my initial post.
Okay. So you posted.
So I replied to Bill, and I said, you're talking about a very small, specific group of people here. The social media Gen Z, if you will. But in real life, I've seen quite the opposite, where my generation is real and doesn't care what others have to say. Where previous generations throw a temper tantrum because they ordered a lime with their water, not lemons, and throw them at you. Boomers to Gen X have been some of the most rude and harsh people that demand the highest level of respect, in parentheses, none of which they have shown they deserve, end parentheses, all because of their age, and continuously put down the younger generations like the original post just did. It's y'all's job to raise the next generation and guide them in a biblical way, not put them down because of what a minority of people have shown over social media to be true.
Banned.
And so I think... I forget what I posted after that, but somebody replied to my comment and was like, amen, pretty much. And then I replied to them, and then I got banned.
You said like, thanks, sister, or something like that.
Yeah, something like it was something small, but yeah, I guess I made them mad by that.
Yeah, so you can't, God forbid you speak truth to someone who is like perfect.
Yeah.
I use that in quotes.
But it's like, and I even joked with my dad about it the other day whenever I said how I'll be walking on your side for the wedding. And my dad's like, no, there's a boy's side and a girl's side.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are like... y'all's generation is so messed up. Like, you want to talk about us being the crybabies that cry about everything. Your generation is the one that cries about everything that has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a double standard.
Yeah.
And you don't even see it.
Yeah.
And of course, me and my dad were joking with each other and laughing about it.
Yeah,
and
but did he change his perspective? Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, that post, I was so mad when I got banned for 20 days.
Oh, are you gonna not comment ever again now?
No, I'll still comment.
Okay, yeah. Do you think it'll be a longer ban next time? 40 days. You're gonna take a 40-day fast from this group,
right? But I don't know. What I said was still way less harsh than what the poster said.
Yeah.
She was like, "You cry, sissy, baby, stupid generation."
Yeah.
I'm like,
well,
hey,
she's the admin. She can say what she
right.
wants. And then God forbid you disagree with her.
Yeah. And I was just like, it's y'all's responsibility to raise us.
Yeah.
And if we're turning out bad, it's because you guys failed.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, at a certain point, we assume responsibility for our own actions. But yeah, what she's talking about, that's going to, if she has kids, God forbid, she's raising them to be kind of messed up people.
Right.
To be like, oh, you're just a crybaby, like depression. You're just a crybaby.
Right.
Like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Debbie. I don't think that's quite it.
Right.
I'm no expert here on development and, I don't have any kids of my own, knock on wood. But, anyway, that's funny. So can you not see anything?
No, I could still see everything. I just couldn't comment.
Okay, well, that's not bad. Then we still got content. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think my ban just ended because I think it showed the option to comment again.
Did she send you like a welcome back thing or like you are now able to talk?
I don't know who banned me, but it came up on notification and said you have been banned from making comments
She
on
definitely banned you.
this group due to not following one of these rules. And the rule that I broke said to be kind to everyone. And I'm like, what about the post itself? Like, what in the world?
For real. You should have reported it.
I couldn't. And if I did, it's going to go to her because she's an admin.
Yeah, I know. Right.
It was so dumb. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why people don't like Christians.
For real. People in power abuse the power.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me, and they just don't see it. They just don't understand they're the problem.
They're so maybe it's just from all the lead paint they had in their houses growing up.
The mercury they got to play with in science class.
Yeah. Back when pencils were made with actual lead.
Yeah. They're like, and they'd stick it up their nose to go to the nurse's office. You know what I mean? But they're actually shoving a toxic chemical up there. Yeah.
That's got to be it.
Well, unfortunately, when this episode airs, it's probably going to be about a month from now. So, but Darci wants to talk about Gypsy Rose. We want to talk about her for months.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this before we even shot the episode for Drake, but it was because we shoot normally 2 episodes when we meet up. That way we're covered for a while.
Yeah.
And it was the episode before the Drake Bell episode was when I was wanting to talk about Gypsy Rose. And we're like, well, we can talk about this next time. I'm like, man, that's going to be so outdated now.
Yeah, that was already like a month ago. So, has nothing new happened for her? Or
not that I've seen. So that's actually what I was going to bring up.
Okay.
So, how familiar are you with Gypsy Rose?
I know everything that happened before she went to prison, but I think
everything?
Pretty close.
Okay.
I think we should talk about that, though.
Okay. Did you watch the Hulu thing?
I don't like child abuse. I hate it, can't stand it, so I don't like watching stuff about it.
It was pretty interesting.
I know. But I as someone who grew up through child abuse, I don't like it.
Yeah. And I've heard, obviously a TV show is going to dramatize things, but I have heard that they at least did the closest to the best out of everyone else that's tried to document her story. But as far as I'm aware, she's going to be directing her story herself, I think, so that it's actually true and accurate to what happened.
Is there a new series coming out where she's directing it?
I don't know. I mean, she just got out of prison, so even if she started on that now, we wouldn't hear about it for another year and a half anyways.
Okay.
Or maybe it was a book, or I don't know, but she's saying she wants things accurately described.
Right.
But to me, if you're a victim in that, then you're gonna paint yourself in the best picture.
Sidebar.
So I think it's still not going to be 100% accurate, but
sidebar. If you were in her shoes, would you, as soon as you get out, start watching your own shows.
Yes,
You would?
yes,
You would?
yes,
Okay.
100%.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, who's playing me?
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Oh, post Mummy Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
The fat guy.
I would be so intrigued. I'd
Yeah.
be watching everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So, okay. Basically, her mom tricked her into being sick and would force medical diagnosis. And I think she even was able to like forge legal medical documents so that even doctors thought that she was diagnosed with it as well.
Yeah.
And she always had like this big old notebook of all these papers and everything. Would tell her that, you know, like she'd push her around in a wheelchair, say she wasn't able to walk. She was like, I don't remember exact specifics, but just for example, she was like 24, but her mom told her she was 12.
No way.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I actually thought she was underage.
No, she was
No
like
way.
she was an adult. But her mom kept lying to her and telling her her age was wrong. And so at like,
That's crazy.
yeah. And so
I finally realize how dumb I am and how little I know about this earth. Maybe my critics are right about me. Maybe I don't know anything.
and so her mom forced her to be in a wheelchair and would tell her like she's not able to like walk, but then obviously at night she'd get up and walk around because like she could, but then her mom would be like, that's too dangerous, and just all this different stuff. And I think at one point she even had her get all of her teeth removed.
That sucks.
Yeah. And so basically this
That's called Munchausen syndrome by proxy, right? Because
I think so, yeah, when the mom is, or the
parent,
the guardian is in saying you're sick with stuff you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
It's so messed up.
What's the goal? Would you say her mom's goal was? Did do any of the
Keep
stuff
her
you
as
watched?
a kid. I
Attention?
think attention. The mom enjoyed. I mean, she got tons of charity donations and
That's the
different
thing.
things like
Yeah.
that. She liked feeling needed.
Yeah.
And so
That's the
'cause
goal of it
She was
typically.
single, and so like if Gypsy grew up and didn't need her anymore, nobody needed her.
Can't imagine why nobody was into her.
Right. And so
Can you imagine being married to someone like that? And like, oh, baby, just sit down. Don't get up. Let me do it.
yeah,
You know that's bad for your knees.
God.
I'd run so fast.
Yeah.
I've ran before from people. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think as best as possible just so I can recap her story from what I know as best as possible. But I mean, I haven't seen or read anything specific on the previous stuff in a really long time, so I might be a little bit off, but I don't think I'll be off by anything too crazy.
Cool.
But she even would tell her she had food allergies, like that she wasn't able to eat any sugar at all. She had like a feeding tube
Oh.
to like feed her. But in the middle of the night when she was walking around, she'd get into the sodas, she'd get into the sweet, and like she like very slowly started figuring out like there's a lot of things her mom is telling her that's not true.
Yeah.
And so that was actually I think how she ended up getting all of her teeth removed was because the mom found out about all the sugar and candy,
Oh no.
and then she had a cavity. And
So she's like, get them out.
yeah, and so she was like, take them all out. I don't know how she got away with that. Like, I don't know how doctors weren't seeing this and being like, something's off here. And
I have a theory, but maybe it's not relevant.
What?
'Cause- Well, typically, at least from my experiences going to the doctor, whenever you're trying to get something switched out, there's a procedure where you get the part you want removed, and then you got to come back when you put the new thing in. You know what I mean? So she's like, okay, get the teeth out, and then we'll schedule an appointment a week later. And then they never schedule the appointment where they put the teeth in. Now, I don't know how dentists work, and offices are different, but she probably found someone who was willing to do the first part and then reschedule the second part. So she's like, oh, I want to get my child some veneers, and we'll never have to worry about cavities again. So go ahead and
Right.
take the teeth out. We'll come back in a week. I'll feed her what she needs to be fed to where she's not hurting herself, and then never make that call. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know.
And so, like, all of this crazy stuff is going on. But like I said, Gypsy's like slowly starting to realize that her mom's lying to her, where she's like, well, my mom says I can't walk, but I get up and walk at night. My mom says I'm allergic to sugar, but I can down 3 cans of soda and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And so it's just building throughout her life, and at one point she goes to this like Disney, like, what is it called when a bunch of people get together?
A group?
No. Like a convention.
Oh, convention. Yeah.
Okay.
Carnival.
But she goes to this like Disney convention thing, and she's dressed as a Disney princess, and she meets a guy.
Oh.
And she lied about her age to be older, not realizing that
She was the age she lied about.
she was like pretty much the age she was lying about.
Jailbait. No, just kidding. I hate that term.
And so at another point, she is on a dating website, I think, because she had like
Kids
been
get
able
sneaky.
to get into, her mom's computer.
Yeah.
And so this guy she meets, he has some mental issues. But like obviously she does too, with everything she's going through.
Poor kid.
And right?
It's horrible.
Well, they're talking and she starts telling this dude about some of the stuff her mom does. So if I remember correctly, I think he said that they should kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might have been Gypsy that brought it up, though, because this was what
Sure.
some of the main controversy was over.
But she must have found the right guy
Right.
to be like, yeah.
And
do it.
so basically she was saying, like, yeah, you need to kill my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did. And then they ran away together and they got arrested. Well, the guy got life in prison, I think, but she just got out. And so there was a lot of controversy because there's, millions and millions of women across the world being like, thank God they released Gypsy.
Yeah.
Like she should never been in prison to
Right.
begin with. Because like, yeah, no crap, she killed her mom.
Yeah.
Or had her mom killed.
And then you got the right-leaning people that are like, oh, no, crime is crime.
Yeah.
Punish across the
Right.
board.
And then they're saying like the guy, it's unfair for how they punish the guy because he had mental disabilities and she like coerced him into doing it.
Right.
But then the other side is like, well, but like she had a reason to kill her mom. He didn't.
Yeah.
So like he is a killer. She's not.
Yeah.
She could not get away from her
No.
situation. She was helpless.
Yeah.
He came into her situation and killed the mom
Yeah.
and like pretty like what's it called? Pretty gruesomely too.
Yeah, it wasn't like a pow, okay, we're together.
Right.
It was like
he like stabbed her a bunch of times and like
ew.
And so yeah. What are your thoughts on her story?
Well, I'm actually curious though, how's she doing?
So
She didn't start an OnlyFans, did she? As most people in her
She's
situation
married.
would do. Who's she married to?
he seems like a sweet guy. I can't remember his
Okay.
name off the top of my head.
Is he famous?
No.
Okay. I think he's like a pastor, isn't he?
I don't know.
Okay. I think I think I remember reading about
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for her.
They were married while she was imprisoned, I think. And then when she either like married him the second they got out, or she married him while she was in prison.
I think that's what it was. Okay, I remember reading about this a while ago, but I forgot. And she looks different than she did when I looked her up in college. So I never connected the dots, but now I remember. Yeah, he married her in prison. Because, I mean, if Ted Bundy, who we brought up before on the show, had so many women who knew he was a serial killer, had people writing to him saying, marry me, then her, who's a lot more, you can have a lot more empathy for her situation. You know, plenty of guys. She's not a bad looking girl either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, she's
Yeah.
not.
No. So
She has
like,
a very like sweet, innocent voice.
yeah, like
I find it kind of annoying, but I see why people say
Yeah.
it's like very sweet and innocent.
and that is totally fine. Except you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So yeah, of course she had people trying to pursue her, and I bet you every weekend in visitation she had her fair share of heartbreaks from behind bars. You know, so I'm on her side. I'll be honest with you.
I am too.
I'm pro Gyp. Like, I know she was technically an adult, but when you're in a situation where you're losing your mind because you're being abused, because it was abuse. It was abuse. It was neglect. It was this one's hard to prove. It was Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That is hard to prove, and that's what she was going through. Yeah. And she had her teeth removed because she couldn't have candy and soda. Like she was being tortured in a way, at least mentally, before she started removing body parts.
Right.
Mental torture. if she was actually 12 and this happened, she wouldn't have gone to jail. But they got her because she was above. I didn't know this. She was above age, right? So let me look that up. Let me make sure before we start going crazy. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole and we're wrong.
I know that her mom lied about her age, but I can't remember how big the gap was. But I'm pretty sure she was like 18 and her mom was telling her she was like 14 or something.
Nope.
How big of a gap did the mom
4
lie to her
years.
about? 4 years? Told her she was how old when she was how old?
She was 23, but she thought she was 19.
Okay.
She was an adult. She believed because of her mother's lies that she was 19. She wasn't. Okay. It's so complicated. Because I don't want to say ever that murder's okay, right? Because it's not, in a way.
I'll be the controversial one. This was okay.
But like when you're trying to escape a dangerous situation, and if she had done it to her mom, I think there would have been a lot more leniency, honestly. Yeah. And if it was a quick, I need to get out of this, but she won't let me. This is for my life, my health.
Yeah, if she just shot her and ran.
There's a self-defense case,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But because she got a guy involved and the guy...
And it was premeditated.
Yeah. He didn't... Because he could have... he didn't call the police and be, you know what I mean? In this instance, I think the way she got out of the situation, I'm on her side. I'm not going to say justified, but I'm going to say like... because I don't know if she tried running away from home.
Right.
There were a couple things she could...
I think there was a time she tried running away from home and her mom found her and brought her back.
Yeah.
So, like, that wasn't an option either.
Yeah. So, like, what do you do? Right? What are you supposed to do? So, I'm not... This is a moral gray area. Like, legit. Like, I don't think anyone's wrong for thinking the way they think. Because this is like... What were the judges supposed to do? You know what I mean? So... Because should there be no consequences for killing somebody?
And that...
Right? You know what I mean?
I agree with the boyfriend's prison sentence.
Yeah, me too. That guy was sick.
Right. From what I remember, I think he like enjoyed it too.
Right.
And
he probably got on stand and was like, oh, I loved every second of it.
Right. So like for him, it makes sense. On her side, I feel like she should have just had to get like a mental facility.
But nobody, okay.
I don't think it should have been prison time. I think she should have been admitted into a long-term psych ward.
And don't get me wrong.
Could have gotten proper counseling,
right.
proper help, proper healing.
But the prison she went to probably had a lot of that too.
Maybe.
Was it a dedicated mental health facility? Probably not. I'm not going to look it up because it doesn't matter. She's out now, right?
Right.
So, but prison does have a lot of those programs. And sometimes if you don't have a program available, they'll move you to the facility that does have that program you're looking for. I promise you there were a lot of people in her prison that she was housed at that very much sympathize with her. Staff, administration-wise, I promise you. The people that are, the way we're having this talk, is this right or wrong? I promise you there were people there that thought it was wrong, and they're going to help her any way they can while she's forced to go to whatever program. So she probably got a lot of help, I will say. So
I feel like she had a long sentence though, didn't she? Wasn't it like 12 years or something?
Right. Because it's still, what do you do? Like, it's murder. She wasn't 12. And it's hard. Yes, it's a gray area for sure, but taking a life is taking a life. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? You're the court. You're the judge. What are you supposed to do? Not guilty? Because they are guilty, but like, was it justified? Was it not? You know what I'm saying?
Right. But like you see that a lot of times when you have women in domestic violence relationships with their significant other where they kill them and like they get off because it's self-defense. Just be like, because they killed them in the moment of abuse rather than... Now, like, I get where it gets gray with the premeditated, but, like, what else was she supposed to do?
Right.
Because she did try running at one point, and it didn't work.
Right. Like I said, the situation didn't leave a lot of room for the self-defense.
Right.
So I think that's probably what got her.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going off of your description. There could be way more than I was like, oh, okay. because she was there, because she was standing there next to him cheering. You know, like I don't know. You know what I mean? There's probably way more to it.
Because they're painting with her blood.
Yeah,
on it,
right.
You know?
What I mean? But it's like, you know. So there's probably like I'm sure the judge, once the sentence was passed down, the judge probably lost a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
You know, the judge was probably like, I'm not happy with my decision because there wasn't a good one. You know, so I will say I would like to talk a bit. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say. So going to her release now.
I was gonna say I want to talk about now. How's she doing?
So it seems like she's doing really well. I mean, she's married. She seems happily married. He seems sweet.
Yeah.
From the outside, I mean, you only see so much.
Yeah. Until another.
Right.
She does it again.
Well, people are saying that he kind of looks the way her mom did. And so they're like
is he
doing
ugly?
all this.
Because I've seen her mom, and woof.
Everybody's doing like all the psychoanalyzing
Yeah.
like they do with everyone that's, you know, famous. A lot of people are kind of upset that she is famous. Like that was a big thing when she was getting released. People were like, dude, you are praising her for killing someone. Like you guys are all messed up. And we're like, you know, it's not that we're praising her for killing someone. It's that we're like, hey, you know, they went a bit too harsh on you for this situation because everyone sympathizes with her, you know. And so, but her fame was insane. It was like all you saw for weeks was Gypsy Rose this, Gypsy Rose that, Gypsy, pictures and videos and, you know, interviews and what have you. I haven't seen a single thing on her for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like when she got out, she was like the most famous person on planet Earth, and now nothing.
Right.
And I find that so strange that it was such a quick, like...
There's no controversy anymore.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because she moved on. It'd be one thing if she was like, you know, bad relationship to bad relationship. There's more to talk about, but she's out. The big controversy was, should she go in? She's out. So that's done. There's no debate.
Right.
We get like, we're talking about it now, but, you know, she's out. There's nowhere else to go. Like now, and she got a lot of help, I'm assuming, in prison. And now she's probably a good person, like a good... lot healthier than she would have been had she just been found not guilty.
Yeah.
So I think it did work out. She's got, I don't know how old she is now, but what, 30s probably. So she's got the rest of her life to be the person she should have been, you know?
She is 32.
Yeah.
She's so pretty.
Yeah. She's young still. She's still young.
Look at those pictures.
And I think she has a lot to keep living for, and she's probably gonna have kids soon. All sorts of stuff, like, you know.
That's true. I mean, she is still getting out at a pretty like golden age, but it just, I don't know, it just really sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like to have that kind of lifestyle, and honestly, I mean, maybe prison was really easy for her though. You know, like.
I promise
after
you,
everything she endured, to go from that to like having
someone's actually feeding you.
Yeah, someone's feeding you
friends,
3 meals a day. You
teachers,
have company. You have teeth.
Yeah,
she
got to go to school.
Yeah,
you know, she got to go to school
like,
finally.
You
in
know,
a way,
maybe it really wasn't all that bad for her because she had such extreme abuse and insane neglect that when she got to prison, it was like, wow,
the prison was Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, you know. I mean, at least I would think I would feel that way. You know, and obviously, like prison's a hard place to be, but like to go from that to prison, I feel like would be, you know,
some facilities are easier than others. I'm willing to bet you she got put in a easy. I don't think they buried her. I think they put her in a nicer facility. She's probably a trustee where she could work outside. Yeah, where, you know, I think she probably got a little bit pampered in there. I don't know. Maybe she got beat up every day. I don't know. But I'm willing to bet she got the right people there were probably a lot of staff in there that were watching her case as it was going. And then when they found out she was in their facility, like, oh shoot, let me go mentor her. Let me go, you know what I mean? Yeah. There were people in there. I promise you they took good care of her. And now she's out and she's functional. Yeah. She's married, you know? Right. So she's going to write a book, I'm assuming. And we're going to get a biopic, you know.
I'm so excited to see anything she like writes or does. Yeah. And like I was saying, I mean, she's still not going to give 100% the, you know, authentic story. No. because I mean, you're gonna be biased towards yourself,
Absolutely.
and you're not gonna be as harsh on you as other people might be.
And her mom's not around to tell the story
Right.
from her end.
Yeah,
Which, oh, well, I say she would never be a peer, but nowadays with how podcasts want a guest, she her stupid A would probably hop on a show and be like, oh my God. She was really sick.
Yeah.
I was just trying to I was her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine what that woman I almost said a bad thing. I can't imagine what that woman would do.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how she'd be defending herself, because she was delusional.
Oh yeah.
She was probably in the right. She probably thought, "Why are you doing this to me? I took care of you." Stab, stab, stab.
Right. Yeah.
She probably felt so betrayed.
Yeah.
While it was going on. So I don't know.
Absolutely psychotic.
It's insane.
It's just like, God, that sucks. Like, how are you that unaware of how psychotic you are? Like, do you know how psychotic you have to be to think your behavior is normal and acceptable? And it's like, I kind of feel bad for Dee Dee as well in a way, because it's like, do you know how sick and twisted you have to be to like even do those kinds of things?
There's some people that are so mental that I do in a way feel bad for them.
Yeah. And like, she's like one of those people to me. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That, I mean, as a mother to sit there and do that kind of thing to not even a child, but your child, and someone you proclaim that you love deeply and dearly. And like, that's just your natural instinct to abuse and torture. And it's
sad.
like, that's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
And it's not even like, what happened to you to make you so twisted? Like, no, it's just like, being you must hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be so disgusting. Unrelated. It's still like there's this kid. I look him up every now and then because I'm always super curious. I'm going to have to use alternative language here because it was a pretty sick crime. So this kid, I think he was 22, 21 or 23, one of those, early 20s. He got on the dark web. Are you familiar with the dark web?
Yeah.
And he got on and said, I am looking to satisfy my cannibalistic nature. If you're willing to let me do things to you while you're dead and eat you, hit me up. So obviously the police or somebody saw that, and they did the Chris Hansen thing where they're like, oh, the undercover police went in there and was like, hey, I have a daughter who's underage, and if you give me the money, like, we can trade. And the guy, he comes in, oh shoot, cool, can we kill her? And he's all excited, and he's like, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's how I want her tied up. Here's how I want her brought to me. And they got all this, and then when they got to the meetup spot, they arrested him. And I was like, what do you have to get into at such an early age to be so disgusting?
Yeah.
What do you have to, and I know there's an answer everyone goes to. It's porn, right? Everyone says porn, like, and I agree. If you start porn at such an early age, it warps your brain.
Yeah.
And you start, like, normal stuff isn't going to satisfy you. So you get to that's when you get to the kinky stuff, or the, what's the word? Unusual, whatever. Like, that's how fetishes are born.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I started at 10, and like,
Yeah.
And I had some really, really bad stuff happen to me. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, because all these other psychopaths don't think they're psychotic.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not psychotic unless, like, there's something you want to break the news to me about on here.
Yeah. So, but what do you have to get into to be so disgusting at 23 or 22 years old?
It's got to be demonic, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
No kidding. And so I look him up because I think at the time we were the same age, and it was such a big case for me. And he was also somewhere in Texas. I want to say, like, further south.
I feel like I've heard of this case
Southeast.
before.
Well, I know the kid's name. Like, I don't know him, but his name is Alexander Nathan Barter, and I'm not defaming him, because it was him, and they caught him, and he's convicted, sentenced to 40 years. This sounds weird, and some of our non-Christian audience may not understand what I'm trying to say, but every now when I think of him, I pray for him, not because I'm justifying what he tried to do or anything. I'm just like, he just needs Jesus. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing a psychiatrist can do. There's nothing meds can do. Like,
Right.
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him. And he's weird in pictures. He's got like his eyes look different directions, and he's a weird faced kid. Like he looks like he is that type of person. And it's like, you look at him, you're like, wow, that's sick. Like you could tell he's into something weird, crazy like that. But when I think about him, I was like, well, we're the same age. He's got 34 more years to go, because that was like 6 years ago or something. I was like, well, Lord, I pray he gets the help he needs and he turns to a better person. Because it's sad, I think, to be so young and to not just throw your life away, but just like you have such an unhealthy brain. You have such an unhealthy mental state.
Well, that's why I'm so like sympathetic with like, I don't know, just people that do bad things, because I've done some really, really awful things in my life and said some awful things and tried to do some even worse things. And I think about the headspace I was in those moments and how deep and dark and deprived I was. But yet there was still so many lines I never crossed. Yeah. And so that was ultimately what got me to forgive the guy that assaulted me. Yeah. And that was like a really extreme, brutal assault.
Way worse than anything you've ever done.
Yeah. And I just remember sitting there and like, I mean, it tore me up deeply. Yeah. And like, I won't say it doesn't bother me anymore, but now I think there's been enough time that has passed for healing to where it doesn't quite shake me up the same way. But I also don't see him. So that, would probably make a big difference. But, that's ultimately what led me to my forgiveness of him was, I sat there and I started feeling sorry for him. I felt bad for him because I was like, how dark of a place does he need to be in to be able to do something like this if I was in this dark of a place and I only ever went this far with it?
And he wanted to make it worse. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. It's, man. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Forgiveness, man, it's tough. But, when you give it, it's not for the other person. It's for you. So I'm glad you're able to do that.
Yeah, but it was so freeing.
And you have a healthy understanding for that and why it's important. So
yeah, it was definitely very freeing. And I talk with Paul's little sister, sometimes because
trying to help her out.
she's in this like stage where she feels like anger is healthy and that it motivates you and that it's good to hold on to things. And I try to talk to her about it. I do think it's something she'll figure out at, like I feel like if she were to just hear herself one time while she's talking about some of the things she's upset about, that she'll realize that it's actually quite unhealthy what she's holding on to. Yeah. But, I tell her all the time about stuff I've forgiven people for, and she's like, you shouldn't. And I'm like, dude, do you hear like how much better I felt afterwards? Right. Like
and she's like, no.
And she's listening and she's like, okay, well then maybe it was good for you, but like that, it's not good for me. Just because, it's good for you doesn't mean it's good for everyone. Yeah, man. I'm like, well, this is.
Yeah. 16-year-olds think they know everything.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. For sure. It's unfortunate. Hope she grows out of it because she's got a lot for her, going for her, so I don't know. Kids nowadays, man.
I think she will. I mean, I think about the things I thought about and said at 16. I'm like, yeah, she's way further ahead than I was.
Oh, so, that's good. That's good.
Like I'm sure she'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah. There's some people you sit there and talk to and you're like, my God, you're so screwed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you're 35? No. It's going to be hard for you.
Yeah. As whenever she gets a firm grip on her identity, I think everything else is going to get fixed on its own. And that's not going to happen at 16. You're not going to have a firm grip on your identity.
No, because I was pretty mature.
Christian, not Christian, atheist. Like, I don't care who you are. You are not going to have a firm grip on your identity at 16 years old.
I said I didn't know who I would. Like, I was pretty emotionally developed at 16, but I mean, God, talking about identity, nope.
What age would you say you finally started to kind of discover your identity?
24. After my first breakup. And then the second girlfriend, I realized I wasn't happy. I started figuring out what I wanted. I started to gain confidence, and I started to realize that I have a lot going for me that I didn't realize. So 24, 25, about that age range. That's when your brain's fully developed, right? But So much stuff I should have been doing from 18 to 24 to develop. I just was rejecting, and I didn't want to try to improve. So
I would say for me, probably 23, like last year.
Oh,
I think last year is when I started getting a little more firmer grip on my identity.
really?
Mm.
We've been friends for 4 years. I thought you had it figured out. I could have sworn you already developed.
I got a lot of it put together when I got sober.
Yeah.
But I was still very, very self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paul's seen the worst of it because I would cry and just be like, why do people like me?
Yeah.
Like, what do I have to offer?
I mean, I wasn't there for that.
Right,
for most of those, because a lot of those were in places I couldn't be, but
but I just really honestly genuinely could not see what anyone could ever like in me, because to me I did the bare minimum, and there was nothing special that I had to offer.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it, I didn't get why people liked me or wanted me as a friend. I felt like I was the type of friend where I felt like I was the friend version of, well, he doesn't hit me, so I love him.
Yeah.
That's how I viewed myself. Like, I was just so broken internally that I felt like I had nothing to offer or give.
Yeah.
And there was many times in my relationship with Paul where I'd just sit there and cry and be like, why do you love me? Why did you marry me? And I'd say around this time last year was when I probably started finally getting over that, where I started seeing like, oh my gosh, I have so much to offer, so much to pour into people, so much good things to say. And this is me as a person, and I'm starting to love me.
Yeah. That's great. I'm glad it was only 23 and not 33, 43.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously there's still a ton of work.
For sure.
But I started taking better care of myself. I started keeping the house picked up. I started, showering regularly.
Being a good wife.
Yeah, being a good wife.
Started making them sandwiches.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. She does cook for me too sometimes when I come over.
I do.
Yeah, it's crazy to say.
Cooking,
I see you make great progress.
Yeah. And so there's just a bunch of different things I look over on, and I'm like, okay, so because at first I was about to say 2020 when I got sober,
right?
And I was like, ooh,
well, that's
no,
what I would have said.
That's when I decided to start doing better, but mentally, I still had so many self doubt and self consciousness, and I didn't know who I was,
Yeah.
Now that I explain it, does that make sense for you where I'm drawing where I kind of...
No, I agree, because
really
basically 2020, you got off drugs. So you got off the stuff that was keeping you at that horrible spot.
Right.
So then after that, I mean...
There was a lot of therapy involved in those years of me discovering myself.
Because you were still emotionally mature in a lot of ways, but the stuff you wanted to work on, I see what you mean. It wasn't until last year you finally started making headway in that direction, in the areas you wanted to grow.
Yeah.
You're mature in a lot of spots, but to those weren't as big of a deal for you as... That's just stuff that came naturally.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought you had it together, because you didn't struggle with the stuff I struggled with. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, she's already there. She's already where I think I should be, but it's more so you weren't where you think you should have been.
Yeah.
So that's how people are different. So yeah, pretty cool. Sorry guys, keep bumping the table. But yeah, cool. Good discussion. Are you cool with playing some truth or drink? We won't have to drink obviously because you're driving home, but let's read some cards.
Drink.
Okay, fine.
You got something to drink?
I think we do.
Crack it open.
And now a word from our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Shinerbach. If you want a nice tasty beer and you don't want that girly White Claw anymore, pop you open a bottle of that. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Welcome back. That was such a great ad. And I'll tell you what. All right, guys. I wanted to do a video on this, with actual video camera footage, but Darci brought up a good point. We shouldn't do the really dirty cards. But we have here this game called Truth or Drink. Okay. And the rules.
I'm teaching youth now.
I know, and I agree. And I'm actually more involved with youth now too. I agree. I don't. If one of the students that we're leading comes across this show and they start seeing all these nasty cards we could read, then what are we doing? You know what I mean? What am I doing? I'm not leading by example here, am I? No, absolutely not. There we go. Okay. Normally how this game works is you draw from 4 different colored piles. They're all color-coded. The darker the cards get, the more spicier they are. We're going to leave the super spicy cards out the way because they're bad. But instead, we're just going to draw randomly anything that's not in this pile. And then the rules are simple.
Just one single one?
Yeah, just one single card. Read it to me, and then I either choose to answer it or I drink.
Okay.
That's a pink card. It's somewhat spicy, but not dirty spicy.
Tell us about a loophole you exploited until you got caught.
I might have to just drink out of principle because I'm not someone who does that.
Right.
You know, like I brought there was a spot I used to work at where I would sneak in the Nintendo Switch and just play until I got caught, and then said, don't do that. So then I quit. When I was a kid, you're already drinking. It's not even your turn. Drink for me, thanks.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to go over to my friend's place and I'd be like, Mom, she said, you can't go in and play his PlayStation unless he invites you. So I'd go knock on his door and I'd be like, hi. His name was Matt, oddly enough. Again, I know like 80 of them. I said, Matt, am I invited in? He's like, oh, yeah, you're invited in. So then I'd go in. And then eventually I told my mom because I felt bad. Sorry, guys, that's not a spicy card for you. I'm just
Okay.
Truth or drink. Here we go. Darci, what's something you've done to try to be cool? Did you impress anyone? Keep it PG because I know you've done. I'm sure you've done plenty of things to be cool with the wrong guys.
We're probably gonna have to put this episode at like what, an hour 15 to encompass all our thinking time.
Just pick something.
I don't know. Let me see the cards so
Oh
I
my
can
God.
think about it easier. Okay.
And no, a word from.
I guess. Okay. So.
What did you do to try to seem cool?
You know have you ever heard of Irish car bombs?
Yeah.
With the Guinness beer, you drop the shot glass in, all of that. I had never taken one before, and somebody asked me, and I said yes to try to be cool. And then the trick, if you're good at taking a car bomb, is to put your finger there so it catches the shot glass, and you don't chip your teeth. And so I was trying to be cool and act like I knew what I was doing. And when I went to go shoot it, I knocked the crap out of my teeth in front of everyone.
Oh, I bet that hurt.
And it hurt really bad. And then it was also very obvious that I had never done it. And I was just trying to go along with the flow. So
was anyone impressed?
No.
Did anyone laugh?
Everyone looked at me like I was really dumb.
All right, read me a card. Hopefully
Okay.
I have a good. Is that a pink one?
Yeah.
Those are always so thought-provoking.
What's the most terrible thing you've ever done for money?
Worked in a prison? I don't know. I've never been. No one's ever paid me to do anything crazy. You know what I mean? I never grew up on the streets like you. I didn't bring out my inner gangster. You know what I mean? I didn't do that. What am I supposed to tell you?
Okay, well, what's the most terrible thing somebody's tried to pay you to do?
Oh, I mean, that's a good one. Okay, so when I worked in prison, I had so many people try to get me to bring them drugs. And I don't know how they do it, but some of those guys sneak in there a couple crisp $100 bills, and they would offer you more than you get paid. You know, so it's looking pretty enticing. Luckily, I was 19, and I was like, my first real job. I'm making good money. I don't need your bribes, sir. But that's the thing. They try to get you to bring stuff in. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let me get you one. Let me get you a pink one. See how you like it. Okay.
I like the pink ones.
Straight up. What do you think I need to just let go of? How would my life improve if I did? Oh, no. You're going to hurt my feelings. You're going to make me cry.
Your fiance. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I got some bad news after we end
so
this
that
recording.
I can take her for myself.
As she stands right behind you.
Oh.
She gave us a thumbs up. She agrees. Fine. Yeah, draw me a card.
Wish we had a light on in here.
Oh, yeah.
No, just kidding.
Like the one you told me not to turn on. The one you said turn off, you hold.
This one says, have you ever pooped yourself as an adult?
Oh, yeah. Have you?
Yeah. Honeymoon.
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
Don't ask how I know that.
Oh, yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah. No. Okay, well, I guess I can tell a story. Well, I guess there's no real story. I'm lactose intolerant, and there were times when I just couldn't make it. And, I don't know what else to say. And it was a lump sum, if you know what I mean.
Oh, God. Yeah, I had never farted in front of Paul before while we were dating.
And then it just happened.
And so I thought it'd be really funny to just let a big old rumble out while we were, like, as my first, like, fart in front of him. And then
Embarrassing.
and I was sick. And so I didn't realize that was one that shouldn't be trusted. So whenever I went to make it like a loud fart, I just like shat myself and I had to go sprint to the bathroom.
So bad. When I was a kid, on our way to church, I had accidentally filled my underwear. And we pulled up to the front door and I was like, I didn't make it. And then so I had to find. Now, what I should have done was go commando. Instead of throwing the underwear in the trash can they had in the bathroom, I tried to go to the trash can across one of the main like sanctuaries. So luckily, it was so early into church that like there wasn't anybody there except one person, and of course that person, while I'm holding it behind my back, has to come up and try and talk to me and be like, "How are you doing today, young man?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." It's like swinging back and forth as I'm like rocking my body back and forth. Yeah, it was a thing, and I threw it away finally, and it was full,
Ew.
non-diaper. All right, Darci. What's the biggest lie you've ever come up with to cancel plans?
It's so bad.
I know. I want to hear it. It's with me, isn't it?
No.
Okay, cool.
It's from when I was like a druggie, so maybe
Okay.
it shouldn't get held over my head too
All right,
hard.
that's fair. That was a long time ago. This is BC.
I told somebody I got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh. So therefore I cannot meet you for a drink.
Because like they continuously asked me to hang out, and so I was like, what's the way I can get out of this to where they just stop asking me to hang out anymore?
What'd they say?
They wrote me a really long letter about how when they saw their mom going through chemo,
no.
and I was like, oh no. And so I forgot that I'd ever lied to this person about it, and I actually saw this person in passing one time at a store, and like I was like 14 when I said this, right?
God.
But I saw them like as an adult, and I didn't even remember that I'd ever lied about that to them, because like I was probably high when I said it. And then one time I was unboxing papers and I found this letter that this girl wrote to me about how this is so bad. Oh my God.
I didn't even grab a pink card.
This is so
You're
bad.
making it pink.
I should have drank. Can we backtrack?
Nope. All right, I get the gist of it. You don't have to tell me why this is sad. You're a sick person.
No, it's my turn to pull up a card.
Oh yeah, you're reading to me.
Oh God.
I was just gonna pull you a pink one.
I
knew.
was a 14-year-old drug addict, okay?
Okay, I want to point this out. We played this game with friends. Solid game. If you play with the wrong people, when you pull a pink card, they turn it so sad.
Yeah.
Because that story would have been like, I won't mention this person's name, but they would have been like, and then my parents did this too. And it's like, we're just trying to have fun,
Yeah.
man. You know?
Yeah, we're
So-
just trying to talk about a time that,
Yeah, read this.
God, I feel so guilty.
Yeah. But you made it funny where they would have been like, and then I told them I had cancer and I held on to it forever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Oh God, I had to have been so high out of my mind to
be
not
like-
even remember lying about that.
To cancer being your go-to
yeah,
option.
yeah, and to not even remember it.
Yeah.
Because that's something you would remember lying about.
Nope,
and
not
I
you.
had the letter and everything.
No, not you.
Okay. Do
All right.
you think that I have overachieved or underachieved?
Wait, and what?
Oh no, that's just where it ends it.
Okay. Overachieved. I'd say where you were with drugs, like what you described to me. Now, granted,
Lying about cancer.
yeah, you wouldn't do that now. Now you're
Right.
direct. I don't want to hang out with you. I'm not comfortable with you being around me.
Maybe that's how I got so direct.
Yeah.
Is because I just lied about everything as
Yeah,
a kid.
and you just got sick of it.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything above drugs is overachieving at this point, because really, I describe this audience to her all the time. There's an alternate dimension where I break up with my ex-girlfriend and I'm crying behind the same dumpster that Darcy's snorting coke behind. And we meet in another context. Again, hypothetical. I don't want to hear it from anybody. My critics.
Okay.
All right, let me read this to you. I'll give you a pink one. See how you like it.
That's what you said the last time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot already. Straight up. What could you reveal to my boss that would probably get me? Darcy,
I'm
you're just gonna drink?
Yeah.
Come on, be honest.
Stop
Ow.
it! It's my turn.
Oh
for
yeah,
a
I got
card.
excited. That one was too funny.
Have you ever intentionally scammed someone or misled them for personal gain?
Yeah, because everyone has. But I'm trying to think of an example that's like extreme, to where like, wow, dude, like that's bad. That's heavy. Oh, okay. I don't think I can think of a scam, but the amount of times I called in at my last job working night shifts, like you were there with me partying for most of them. But I had
you always called in on a Monday night.
Yeah. No, I was
Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I would say Tuesday mornings.
Yeah.
Yep. Because no, so what I ended up doing was I was making such good money from all the overtime I was forced to work that when I wanted to call in sick, I would hop onto web teledoc, like a web doctor, do a quick Zoom call, and then he'd diagnose me with bronchitis, and then I'd get a note and then turn it in. And then I called in sick one year at that job 26 times. Yeah, almost a whole month.
Oh my God.
Out of the year, I called in sick. All right, so that was you reading me one. Let's do a chill one for you. We'll do a couple more, then we'll cut it.
Okay.
Look at the person to your left. Hey. What's the kindest thing they've ever done for you? Oh, what have I done for you? What's the kindest thing I've ever done for you? If you compliment me, I will end the show. Just kidding.
I don't know. There's so many things.
Oh, stop. Ew. Gross. I have a fiance. Just drink.
I guess it's not an isolated incident, but being available.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't know. You've done a lot of really nice things.
Okay, thanks. Here you go. Your turn. Last card.
Why did that make you so uncomfortable?
I don't like compliments.
I don't like giving them.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, actually, so there's an extra layer. We don't like complimenting each other either. That's the thing. We don't make it weird. Unpack that for us, audience. Let us know what our problem is in the comments.
Because, what was it? It took me making a drunk confession until you finally realized it. But it was why don't you say you love me back?
In a friend context.
Yeah. And it took me being drunk to be because I love you a lot. You stupid son of a...
All right. Anyway, that's enough out of our lives.
In a friend context.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
enough out of our lives.
Who on earth do you think hates you the most right now?
I'm drinking. Who hates me the most? I know there's an answer. Who hates me? Do you know anyone that hates me? The girl we talked about last episode definitely doesn't like me. But who hates me? I think you would know better than me.
Is there anyone you can think of that just thinks you're super cocky and douchey and just doesn't mess with you?
So I consider myself a class clown, and there are people that definitely don't find me funny.
Right.
But no, I don't think so. I don't even think my biological dad hates me. He's stuck in Delulu land. So that's where I got Delulu from.
I hate that.
Sorry. All right, I apologize, audience. That was a terrible card. I might just cut that card out.
Yeah.
Do another one. I don't think anyone hates me.
It's me.
Yeah.
When do I demand the most attention?
At night, literally 3 a.m. when you fight with your husband.
Why did you say that so quick?
It's not a bad thing. We're just being honest.
You didn't even think. I didn't even finish the question.
You're right. I'm sorry. Was there more?
Yeah, all I said was, when do I demand? And you're at 3 in the morning.
All right. I answered that so quick. We got time for one more.
Oh, my God.
That was way better than last card. Tell you what. All right. I'm giving you permission to brag about yourself. Tell us about a time you selflessly helped someone who needed it. I can list that one. I'll give you that one.
So many. And they all bit me in the ass.
For real. For real, though.
God, that one's just going to make me angry if I start listing that one off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the one that lived with you for a little bit.
Which one?
Oh, started with the Z. Rhymes with a mountain.
Rhymes with a mountain.
Okay, it's the name of a mountain. Yeah, the name of a mountain.
You dumb.
Let me answer for you. I don't have an alcoholic beverage.
Okay.
Darci told this girl who she rescued basically off the street. She paid off a lot of her debt so she didn't have to prostitute herself. And then this girl drove all the way to Houston or something, or was going to take a plane to hang out with these people who were going to put her back in that bad situation. And so Darci drove. She called me, and we talked for hours while she drove to Houston to go get her. She drove to Houston to get her. When she got there, the girl had already hopped on the plane and drove to that bad situation. Or I'm sorry, flew.
No,
right?
That's not what happened. She agreed that if I picked her up from Houston, she wouldn't go to Kansas.
Yeah.
So I picked her up from Houston, brought her home, and 2 days later she went to Kansas. And then had me pick her up from Kansas.
Even worse than what I just described. Yep. And then still, like, stole stuff from you, left your house in bad terms, like all sorts of terrible stuff. And you bent over backwards for that woman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm the evil one.
Yeah, you're the terrible one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to do one more then? All right. And then that's it.
Yeah, this will be the last one.
Last one. As long as it's a good one.
What is something you're struggling with that we don't know about?
Don't know about. It's hard to go from a guy who likes attention to only needing attention from one person. So me about to getting married, I have to start not feeding people that are giving me attention that could keep me from loving my fiance the way I need to as a man, as someone who's committed to her only. So making an adjustment where, what, is this too much?
I was just looking to see if there was one that could be funny.
Oh. So it's hard to turn from a guy who likes to get attention from people to adjusting to getting attention from only one individual. So I don't think anybody knows about that.
I know the answer to this one.
Sure, go ahead.
If you found out I'd been embezzling from work, would you rat me out? Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
You snitch.
I would not tell on you.
You're a snitch.
You didn't kill nobody. You didn't hit and
so
run.
I can embezzle?
Yeah.
But if I accidentally murder someone, you're telling on me?
You know how many drinks you'd buy me if you were embezzling funds? You'd buy me so many drinks. I'd take them. I'd be like, where'd you get this? Don't care.
That's fair.
Money, who cares? You're going to get caught, though. I ain't going to lie to you. It won't be from me. I'll just be like, hey, she just bought me drinks. I didn't know she stole all that money. I didn't know she robbed a bank.
You could do the same if I had a hit and run.
She just bought me a drink. I didn't know she killed somebody. That's not the same thing. This episode's going to go on long again.
That's so funny.
All right. What do you think? We should call it there?
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
All right. All right.
Unless you can think of something really funny to call me out on. It says, what do I think I'm pretty great at, but I'm actually pretty average at?
All right. I think that's it for tonight, guys. I think why are you spoiling all the cards for yourself?
I'm not. I'm going to put them back.
Okay. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much for joining us this time, guys, for the Third Wheel Podcast at Night. I hope you guys had fun like we did. See you guys next time.
See you guys.